Okay, so rearranging formulas is typically done when we're trying to find one variable. Now we can rearrange a formula before or after we substitute into it. A lot of the times you rearrange before depending on the formula. So we need to do the inverse operations, like the opposite of adding is subtracting, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, squaring, square root. If I have something like cubing it, I'm actually going to do what's called the cube root, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so if we rearrange the following to solve for the variable, well, the opposite of cubing something, so we need to solve for s, is cube rooting it. Same as the opposite of squaring something is square rooting. And typically we wouldn't write that little 3 in if we were square rooting it. But if you look on most calculators, and definitely on your phones, if you look on your phones, there's actually a cubed root button right under the cubed. So if you turn your phone sideways and you're using it, you'll see the second function and then x squared and then typically x cubed, and right below it, it has the opposites. Okay, so cubed root is the opposite of cubing something. Now the second one here, it says solve for w. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is actually just get this term by itself. So to get that term by itself, I need to subtract that 2l over. I need to get rid of the 2l first. So I have p minus 2l equals 2w. And now it says 2 times w, so I just need to divide by 2. I need to do the opposite of times. So I'm going to do this whole other side, and that's a common mistake. People will just divide p or just divide 2l by the 2. You need to divide the whole other side by 2. So put it in brackets, right, divided by 2. Okay, the next one, so c, it says solve for l. Now really, I'm going to rewrite this. This one says n equals v over 4 times 1 over L. Okay, so we can do this one of two ways. We can solve for 1 over L and then flip the whole fraction, or the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So we can multiply that L up to the other side. So this is going to say n times L equals v over 4. And now I just need to divide by n, because the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we get L equals v over 4n. We did a question similar to this where I gave you the Fahrenheit and I asked you to use this formula to find Celsius. So it says convert 56 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit this time. So this time I've given you the Celsius formula, but you need to turn it into Fahrenheit. So there's two ways to do it. You can either substitute first, or you can solve first. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to substitute in first. So I'm going to have 56 equals 5f minus 32 over 9. Now I'm going to get rid of the 9 first. So I'm going to multiply that 9 on both sides because I'm dividing by 9. So I'm going to do 56 times 9. I'm going to get 504 equals 5 times f minus 32. Now I'm going to divide by 5 because I need to get rid of the multiplying. So I'm going to have 100.8 equals f minus 32. And then I need to add the 32 to the other side. So I get f equals 132.8. And now I just switched the f over and made it look nicer. 132.8 equals f is just as right as f equals 132.8. So we talked about it in that last question. You either need to isolate your variable first and then and then substitute, or substitute and then solve. Depending on the question, you might feel more comfortable doing one way or the other. It doesn't matter, but choose one strategy and kind of stick to it. If we look at this question, we've got in-house construction, the safe load in m in kilograms that can be supported by a beam of L length, thickness in centimeters, and height in centimeters is given by the following formula. Determine h with all of this information. So we need to find out h here. If it were me, I would probably rearrange it first and then solve it. It doesn't actually matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange for h. First thing I'm going to do is multiply the L up to the other side. So I'd get ML equals 4TH squared. I'm going to divide by 4 and t all in one step because it says 4 times t times h squared. So I'm going to get ML over 4t equals h squared. And then I need to square root that whole thing. So I would get the square root of ML over 4t equals h. And now I'm just going to substitute all my numbers in here and solve. Okay, you could have substituted in first. I'm just showing you. I like looking at it like this, to be honest, just to make sure that it makes sense to me. So we've got 500 times 4 over 4 times 10. So that's going to be the square root of 500 times 4 divided by 4 divided by 10. And we're going to get 7.07, okay, approximately. So that is 7.07 kilograms, because that's what we're looking at. The safe load, or sorry, no, we were trying to find the height, excuse me. That's the height in centimeters. Okay, so the beam can be a height of 7.7 centimeters, or 7.07 centimeters. Okay, there's some homework out of chapter 6 for you to work on this stuff.